Hello guys, welcome to my channel Lucid Fanfic, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. So be sure to stick around until the end, and let's get started. At the USJ entrance. Black hole. The quick that SCKS in everything and turns it to dust, an incredible power. However, you are a rescue hero, 13. You work to save people, meaning you have zero battlefield experience. The Mist villain says while opening a portal on himself. Then another portal opens behind 13, as the effect of her quick begins to affect her, with some parts of her costume and some parts of her body being pulled into the portal as Kurogiri's eyes narrow as he smiled. Too bad. Looks like you've turned to dust, he says while everyone else waits horrified. 13. Ochako shouts in tears. Sato then turns to Ida. Ida, go. Get out of here. Go now. He yelled. Ida is speechless, not knowing what to do. He then remembers what 13 had said to him, gritting his teeth. His engine roars as he shoots past the villains. Trying to run away? I can't allow that. Kurogiri says. If other heroes arrive, it will be much more difficult to finish All Might. Ida is close to hurting himself, but everyone is depending on me, my classmates, our teachers, Captain Deku, all of them. I must, Ida thinks, believing that it's over for him, until Shoji jumps on him and grabs hold of the villains. Run, Eve got him, just go. Shoji shouts as Ida starts to run again. I'll be back. Hang in there, guys. You naughty child. The villain shouts going after Ida. Uraraka then notices something metal inside the Mist villain, making her believe that must be his body. I'm close now, but what if the exit is blocked? Will I even be able to open it in time? Ida thinks as Kurogiri hovers over him. I do not have time for this. Now disappear, the villain says, trying to use the same move he used earlier. But then Kurogiri feels lighter, much more than he did earlier, allowing Ida to slip away from him. Uraraka had used her quick on the metal part of his body. I don't know what his quick is, but he has some kind of armor, meaning he has a physical body. Ochako says, picking up the villain and throwing him. Run, Ida. Go get the heroes, or just someone. Zero yells as he throws Tap, holding him down. He then cuts the tap as Sato grabs him and begins to spin, creating momentum and speed before releasing as the villain floats away, allowing Ida to leave USJ. Back to ARC Trooper Deku. Izuku and Aizawa still stand facing the villains as Shigaraki speaks. A Japanese trooper? What's a soldier like you doing here anyway? Shouldn't you be off in the front lines somewhere? Shigaraki asks. That's classified. Izuku says DC, 17 pistols pointed at Shigaraki. Well then, let me show you my weapon, the anti-symbol of peace. He says, looking at Nomo. But before Shigaraki can give the order, a purple portal opens as Kurogiri walks out. Tomura Shigaraki. He says, Kurogiri, what are you doing here? Did you manage to kill 13? He asked, curious for the results. The rescue hero will no longer be an issue, but there were some students I failed to eliminate, and one managed to escape. The Mist villain says, what? Is the only thing he says before scratching his neck violently. Kurogiri, you fool. If you weren't our only transport source, I would have smashed you to pieces. He says before lowering his head. I doubt we'll be able to beat the dozens of professionals who might show up. Not to mention the Grand Army of Japan could be sending an entire army after us. It's game over. A minute. Let's go home. Unknown to Izuku and Aizawa, Tsu and Mineta had stayed hidden and were watching. You heard that, right? Did he just say they're leaving? Mineta asked. That's what I heard. That's it. We're saved, he says, hugging the girl's body. Yes, but... Tsu feels Mineta's head on her melons, making her blush as she proceeds to drown him, as promised earlier. I warned you, Mineta, she says. Izuku, however, had heard Mineta's cry of joy as his eyes widened. Tsu, Mineta, what the hell are they doing here? I told them to go to the exit. He thinks furious. And before we leave, let's make sure we break the symbol of peace. Shigaraki says before disappearing and reappearing in front of Mineta and Tsu. Let's make this hurt, he says with an evil smile, moving his hand to Tsu's face. No, Izuku screamed before opening fire with his pistols. Pow, 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 pow. Izuku keeps shooting only for the Noma to get between him and Shigaraki. Izuku sees that his blaster bolts are damaging it. However, it quickly heals itself. What the? So this must be their weapon to kill All Might. He thinks his eyes locked on the Nomu. Nomu, kill the trooper. Nomu grabs Izuku's arm and is about to use the other to kill the ARC captain. Midoriya. Tsuyu screamed while Minato waits horrified. Look at me, girl. Shigaraki says, going back to trying to kill her. But then, boom! The front entrance explodes as several AT-RT scout walkers rush, in lead by Commander Appo and Lieutenant Jesse, who are both on BRC speeders. Reinforcements have arrived, Captain. Jesse shouts before turning to none other than All Might, and he's not smiling. It's all right because we are here. All Might says before turning to the two officers. Commander, send your walkers down there. Open fire on the big villain. I will be joining you. With pleasure, sir. Come on, men, let's go. Appo says, speeding off with walkers running behind him as All Might turned to Jesse. Lieutenant, have your squad spin up and head for the different zones. Rescue all the students. Use lethal force only if you have to, but remember to protect the students at all cost. All Might says, yes, All Might. All right, rocket jumpers, you heard him. Let's get going. Jesse orders as he and his men blast off with their jetpacks. On the stars, the students wait amazed. Wow, so that's the unit Midoriya leads. But Midoriya has green armor. Why are they all blue? Sato asked, confused. Maybe it's to make himself stand out. Mina says. Ochako looks at the blue-armored troopers in amazement as they open fire on any villains. Before she turns down to Deku. Deku. She thinks worried for the green ARC trooper. In the mountain zone, Momo, who is using binoculars, is also amazed with Koika by her side with Kaminari sitting on the ground shouting yay. It's them, the 501st Legion, Izuku's men they're here. Momo says smiling. Then they hear jetpacks as they turn, and Momo is surprised to see someone familiar. All troopers fan out and make sure all villains are captured and secured. Jesse says before turning to the three and is surprised to see Yaoyorozu. Oh, Yaoyorozu, you're here. I'm glad you've recovered since we last met. Heh, the captain has said a lot of good things about you two, said you helped him win in a match against a blonde kid. Momo blushes as Jesse and his men look down at Kaminari, laying on the ground. What happened to him? Jesse asks. It's a long story. Koika says, holding back her laughter. Yay, Kaminari says, giving the troopers thumbs up. Okay. All right, let's get you three out of here. Hold on tight. Jesse says as Yaoyorozu holds on to him. Jesse, is Deku okay? She asked, deeply worried for her close friend. Don't worry, Deku will be fine. He's one of the bravest and toughest troopers I've ever met, and we all look up to him. Even if Appo is a commander now, we still consider the captain as our leader, and we both obey and follow him without question, because he never makes us do anything he won't do himself. Jesse says, smiling proudly under his helmet. Back with Izuku, Captain Deku, now reinforced by Appo and the 501st, grins under his helmet before turning to Shigaraki, Hirojuri, and the Nomo. Blast them, he yells as the AT-RT walkers charge towards the villains. Hirojuri shields Shigaraki from the blaster fire as the Noma charges at the walkers, destroying them and killing many troopers as Appo opens fire on his speeder. The Noma grabs hold of the speeder, before crushing it, forcing the commander to jump off and run over to his still technically commanding officer. Good to see ya, Captain. Appo says, firing his DC-15S carbine, while Izuku uses his blaster pistols. Thanks for the backup, boys, but how did you know we were under attack? Comms are down. Izuku asked, confused. All Might called us in after a student told him what was going on. The rest of you Dada's staff will be here soon. He says as the two troopers work together, blasting villains with stun setting while All Might is on top of the rest of the villains, defeating them all with ease. All the villains have been defeated, all lying on the ground, some dead, some unconscious, as Jesse and the rest of the 501st move in blasters aimed at Shigaraki, Hirojiri, and Shigaraki, who are shocked by what has happened as All Might lands right next to Captain Deku and Commander Appo, as the #1 hero turns to his stepson. Captain Midoriya, are you all right? He asked, not once taking his eyes off the villains in front of him. Yes, thank you, All Might. Izuku says, pistols aimed and ready to fire. Son. Both Appo and Jesse think confused. I had a bad feeling something was wrong, so I came as fast as I could. And when young Ida ran into me and told me what was happening, I immediately contacted the Grand Army for help. It seems I got way more than I asked for. All Might says he is irritated. Because of me, everyone here was in danger, he thinks. All the students smile, with Ochako and Mina crying tears of joy, relieved that All Might and the Grand Army of Japan have arrived to save them. But the fight isn't over yet. All Might, Deku, Appo, Jesse, and the other members of the 501st Legion stare at the three villains with pistols, carbines, and rifles raised, ready to open fire as Shigaraki speaks. We've been waiting for you. Symbol of peace. Look what was wonderful. As expected, very fast. I couldn't keep up with you with my own eyes, but you're not as fast as I thought. So it's true. You are getting weaker. Appo and Jesse look at each other while Izuku looks up at All Might, knowing it's because of the injury he got years ago, as All Might take a step forward. All Might, wait. Me and the boys can handle this. We can beat these guys. Izuku says, pistols still aimed at the villains. It's okay, Captain Midoriya. You and your men have done enough. Tell them to stand down and help everyone. What? Izuku asked, surprised. But sir, Jesse tries to protest as well. Soldiers, it's okay. You three and your legion have done enough. I don't want any of you getting hurt in this fight. Now go to the entrance and leave this to me. Yes, sir, come on, men. Izuku says, holstering his pistols. But Captain, doesn't he need our help? Appo asks, confused. Stay on standby. The second anything goes wrong, we open fire, understood? Sir, yes, sir. The commander and lieutenant said. All Might then turned to Shigaraki and advanced toward him. Carolina. Nomu. Shigaraki says as Nomu stands in front of him. Smash. All Might cut through the air, causing the water to fly, but the Nomu doesn't move, glaring at All Might before trying to grab him. But the hero managed to duck just in time. No scratches. Wait. 41. All Might then punched Nomu in the stomach, but it still didn't move. All Might then delivered 2 punches to the creature's face, which seemed to feel no pain at all, as the creature tries to grab All Might, but the number 1 hero dodges it, jumping backward. It doesn't even work on its face. The Nomu approached All Might as he kept throwing punches at the monster, as Izuku, Appo, and Jesse waged nervous, wanting to just blast the creature, but also wanting to respect All Might's order for them not to interfere. It doesn't work because of the shock absorption. To damage Nomu, you would have to slowly rip off his flesh, but I don't think he's going to let you do that. Shigaraki says, thanks for telling me all this. All Might dodges the Nomu's fist, grabbing the creature from behind and smashing it to the ground, causing a strong wind blast, and despite being protected by their armor, Izuku, Jesse, Appo, and the other members of the 501st cover their helmets with their arms. That's it. Take that. Zero yells. That's what you get for underestimating All Might. Sato shouts. Did you see that move? It caused an explosion. That's amazing. I knew All Might finished that monster. Mineta says. Even though he's an amazing hero, he can't teach without having notes. Tsuyu says, making everyone look at her, even members of the 501st. While we understand All Might wanting to fight alone, the chances of him winning are very low. One of the 501st troopers says, back with Izuku. Sir, this has gone on long enough. We should help him. Commander Appo said, worried. I agree. Captain, will All Might really be able to defeat that thing without our help? Jesse asks, I know why All Might is slower. It's because of an injury he has. All Might isn't going to last much longer, but we gotta give him more time. Izuku said, also deeply worried for the man who has apparently become his new father. As the smoke clears, the 3 officers see that All Might has been subdued by the Nomu, putting pursue on All Might's old wound, causing him to bleed. Were you trying to stop him from moving? By shoving him into the concrete. You can't do that because Nomu is as strong as you are. All Might tries to shove the creature's head into the ground, but Kurogiri opens 2 portals, the second having Nomu who's digging his fingers into All Might's wound, as All Might lets go of the creature trying to get free, but it's no use. That's it. Everyone take that BSDRD down. Izuku shouts, pulling out his pistols, ordering the 501st to open fire. No, hold your fire. All Might shouts, not wanting to get accidentally shot. Gur, We don't have much time left. Kurogiri, get rid of the soldiers. Izuku and the troopers all take aim at Kurogiri, but before a single blaster bolt is fired, Kurogiri is greeted by Bakugo, who managed to hit the metallic part of Kurogiri's body, sending him to the ground. A steam of ice appears covering a good part of the Noma's body, as Shoto Todoroki appears with Kirishima behind him. Guys, what are you doing here? Izuku asked. Isn't it obvious you DMN soldier were here too? Bakugo stops looking at Appo, Jesse, and the 501st troopers behind them. Wow, Midoriya, who are they? Kirishima asked. These are my men. Now focus on what's in front of you. Izuku orders. That creature, it's... Appo says. Meant to kill All Might. I know, one of the henchmen told me, but we can't allow the symbol of peace to be killed by people like them. Shoto says. Agreed. Izuku, Jesse and Appo said blasters aimed at the Nomo. Kurogiri tries to move, but Bakugo threatened him with an explosion. Don't even try it. If you make a single move, I'll blow you to hell. Bakugo says with an evil smile. That's not very heroic. Kirishima says. I agree. Does this boy truly want to be a hero? Kurogiri asked, still on the ground. Even after all that, those soldiers and kids are all unharmed. They're so amazing. They're putting the League of Villains to shame. Noma, break the ice and get up. Shigaraki orders as the Noma breaks the ice with some parts of its body coming off, shocking everyone. What the? It's regenerating. Jesse shouts, raising his DC-17 pistols about to shoot, only for All Might to stop him. Young people, stay back there. Do not fire. He shouts, standing in front of the 3 hero students and 501st Legion. Wait, wasn't that creature's quick shock absorption? Commander Appo asked, confused. I didn't say that was the only quick he has. What you're seeing is super regeneration. Nomo has been modified to fight. All Might at 100% strength. So this thing's a real punching bag. Jesse says. Very observant trooper. Shigaraki says as All Might, Deku, Appo, Jesse, and the 3 hero students are about to face the Nomo. Now, we need to retrieve our portal. Shigaraki says, making everyone one wage as the Noma charges at Bakugo. Take him down. Izuku shouts as he and his men open fire. As Izuku gives Appo a hand signal, immediately the commander moves in, grabbing Bakugo and getting him out of danger. Way to go, Commander. Jesse says. That a boy, Appo. Izuku says as All Might speak to Shigaraki. You would attack my student, you bastard. All Might yells. I only did it to rescue my companion. I didn't have a choice. Also, that green armored trooper with the weird horns on his helmet. He tried to blast me with all the ammunition he had. Only because you were about to kill an innocent girl who is only still in training. Izuku shouts, pistols raised, wanting to end this already. You know what, All Might? I'm angry. I'm angry at this. Would that classifies the same violent acts of heroes and villains, deciding what's good and bad. And you, All Might, you call yourself the symbol of peace, but you are a device used to repress violence. Violence only makes more violence. Those soldiers behind you are latterly trained for nothing but combat. He says, pointing at Deku, Appo, and Jesse. The Wood will understand that once we kill you. Shigaraki says, smiling darkly. Liar. Izuku shouts. What? Shigaraki asked. You just want to enjoy this, don't you? All Might asked. You're just trying to have fun. Jesse shouts. So, they've already figured me out. Shigaraki said, narrowing his eyes. Todoroki looks behind them to see the hundreds of 501st troopers ready to fire. It's 4 against an entire legion. They are outnumbered. Shoto says. Thanks to Bakugo, we also know the mist guy's weakness. Izuku says. Then let's help All Might. Kirishima says, activating his quick. No, young ones, you have to. Sir, with all due respect, as it is our duty to protect the students. It is also our duty to protect you. Trust me and my men. Izuku says. All Might thinks for a moment he really is running out of time, and at this rate everyone could get hurt. All Might has no choice but to ask for their help. Captain Midoriya, tell your officers to order your men to prevent the other villains from interfering with the battle. Young Bakugo, Todoroki, and Kirishima, help them. Captain, you and the rest of your men are with me. Yes, sir, you heard him, men. You know what to do. Izuku says. Sir. Yes, sir. You 3 with us. Appo says. Count on me. Kirishima says. Don't tell me what to do. Bakugo shouts. I'll do what I can. Todoroki says. Noma, take care of them. Shigaraki orders. Noma charges at all might as the two exchange punches as Izuku and his 501st troops open fire, attempting to at least weaken the creature as the Nomu tries to bite All Might with its razor-shaped teeth, but pow! A bolt from a DC-17 hits the Nomu in the brain, making it screech in pain, looking above to see Izuku using his jetpack. Pow, pow, pow! Izuku fires several bolts into the creature from above as All Might throws more punches at the creature, now laying on the ground. Leave it to us now, All Might. Izuku shouts as All gets off the creature to see a 501st trooper with a rocket launcher. Boom! The trooper fires, hitting the Nomu. Now, All Might. Izuku shouts after giving All Might the opportunity to end this battle. Hey villain, have you ever heard these words before? Go beyond. Plus ultra. Izuku and his men shout as All Might delivers a powerful punch to the Noma's belly, punching it so hard the ground breaks, making the entire USJ shack as the Nomu flies high into the air, destroying the root of the building, with everyone watching completely shocked. They did it. Ochako shouts, happy tears in her eyes. Karo. Sue is happy and relieved that Izuku is alright. Back with Izuku. That was so manly. Kirishima says, crying, making 501st troopers look at him. That was insane. Bakugo says, the best legion and best of the pro heroes working together. That is the result. Todoroki says, looking at Izuku. While he still thinks he's stronger, he is amazed by the sheer skill of the ARC captain and his troopers. Great shot, Jack. Izuku said, turning to the trooper with the rocket launcher. That's giving it to the villains. The trooper says. All Might and Izuku smile as they turn to Shigaraki and Kurojairi as Shigaraki shacks in rage. You cheated. Nomu was supposed to defeat All Might, created to kill All Might. You cheated by having those troopers get into the fight. What is it? Don't you still want to come here anymore? Get this over with. Izuku and his men turn to All Might, noticing the steam coming out immediately, knowing what that means. Oh no, that's not good. Izuku thinks, nodding to his men who begin to circle the villains. No, if I just had Nomu. D-minute. SHD. SHD. Shigaraki shouts, scratching his neck in anger. Shigaraki, we're surrounded by troopers, we must retreat before. Leave now. No, I'll kill that green trooper and All Might with my bare hands. Pow! Izuku fires a single bolt from his pistol, hitting the floor near Shigaraki's feet. One more step, you both die. Now surrender. Izuku shouts. The villains and troopers stare at each other until. Sorry for the delay. Everyone turns to see several pro heroes along with Ida. Ida have brought reinforcements. Ida then freezes when he sees the 501st troopers all over the place. Oh my, it would seem they have already taken care of the situation. Still, everyone spread out and help the troopers with the students. SHD, they're here. Kurojairi, get us out of here. Pow, 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 pow. Izuku then fires 4 blaster bolts with his DC-17 pistols into Shigaraki's legs and arms. Ah! The villain screams as Kurojairi protects Shigaraki. The villain looks at All Might and Captain Deku. I may have lost this time, but next time I'll kill you both, especially you, trooper. Shigaraki says before disappearing without a trace. Izuku sighs in relief as he, Jesse and Appo remove their helmets, falling to their knees. They had won. That was intense. Commander, Lieutenant. Thank you for your help. All Might says slowly, returning to his normal form. You're welcome, All Might. Appo says, we will always follow you into battle, sir. Jesse says, and Captain Midoriya, I also thank you. You acted with outstanding courage and protected the students. I'm so proud of you. Toshinori says like a proud father. Thank you, All Might. Izuku says as Jesse and Appo chuckle. Hey, All Might and the 3 troopers turn to Kirishima, who's running towards them. OCRP. I can't move without revealing my secret. All Might think, looking at the 3 officers as Izuku nods before turning to his men. Appo, Jesse, get rid of him now. I'll help, All Might. Izuku whispered, yelled, panicking. Yes, sir. The 2 say before running over to Kirishima. Don't worry, kid, the captain and All Might are fine. Come on, let's go check on the students. Jesse says, but what about them? Don't they also need our help? Kirishima asked. Leave it to me. The two troopers and student turn to see the hero Cementos as he creates a wall between them and Izuku and All Might. You heard him. Let's move out. Appo says. Sir. Yes, sir. Everyone is at the gate this way. He says as the commander and lieutenant follow him, as Cementos meets with Captain Deku and All Might. Thank you, Cementos. You're welcome. I'm a big fan of yours too. And you, Captain Deku. I am greatly impressed by your bravery and skill. We'll keep you both here until we can get you to the nurse. But man, All Might, you act reckless every time? Cementos asked. If it wasn't for Captain Midoriya and his men, I would have died. They helped a lot. Toshinori says, turning to Izuku and smiling. Just doing my job, All Might. Hee. Mom and Recovery Girl aren't going to be happy you're hurt. He says, chuckling, making the symbol of peace freeze in fear. Back at the stars, the 501st Legion helped the heroes with the injured, including 13 and Mr. Aizawa. Momo Yaoyorozu, who is still shaken from the attack, turns to see Bakugo, Kirishima, and Shoto, skirted by Commander Appo and ARC Trooper Jesse. Shoto. Momo yells as the two run to each other and hug. I'm so glad you're okay. I was so scared. She says, crying. Shoto smiles, kissing her cheek. Don't worry, Momo, I'm okay. Yaoyorozu. The two turn as Appo walks over to them. Appo, good to see you. She says, bowing as the commander removes his helmet. You too, are you hurt? He asks. No. I'm fine. Thank you. But what about Captain Deku? Where is he? Is he alright? The creation quick user asks, becoming worried for her friend, making Shoto growl in jealousy. Hee. Don't worry, Captain Deku is fine. He's with All Might. The commander says, calming her down. Oh, thank goodness, I was so worried. Momo says, smiling in relief, putting her hand over her heart. Shoto looks at Momo, wondering if his girlfriend is developing some kind of feelings for Captain Deku. However, that's not what is on his mind. Why is he with All Might? Shoto asks, wondering what kind of connection the captain has to the #1 hero. He's skirting. All Might back to UA. He got beat up pretty badly, but after Recovery Girl heals him, he'll be just fine. The commander says about to turn away to check on the other students. But then, wait, Commander, I have a question. Momo says, yes. The commander asks. Momo hesitates. She knows it's not exactly the best time to ask, but she wants to know. Trooper Fives, what happened to him? Momo asks with a serious face. Appo and even Jesse and some of the other members of the 501st Frez, Fives' death was hard on them all, but most of all on Deku. Momo. Todoroki scolds, knowing this must be a very sensitive topic for them. I'm sorry. It's just, when I brought him up to Deku the other day, he was acting like he was about to break down. Momo says, looking down in guilt. It's okay, Yaoyorozu Fives. Appo says, pausing before speaking because in truth, Appo and no other member of the 501st knows what truly happened, only the reports. One of our men, a trooper named Tup, went mad and killed a pro hero during a battle. Appo says, remembering that moment. Good soldiers follow orders. Tup said, going into a trance-like state before killing the pro hero. After that, Fives went with Tup back to the medical facilities to figure out what had happened. Only to go rogue and driven mad himself, he contacted the captain to speak privately only for Captain Deku to bring him back dead, said the Japanese guard killed him. The commander says, shocking Momo, who puts a hand over her mouth. That's horrible. Why didn't they at least give him a chance? She asks, I don't know, and honestly, I don't know what Fives told Deku, but he's not been the same ever since that day. He hasn't told us anything and kinda seems scared. If you want to know more, I suggest you talk with the captain, but do not force the topic on him. Appo says, I understand. Thank you, Commander. Momo says as she and Shoto bow. Appo nods, putting his helmet back on, and going to check on the other students, as Momo thinks to herself. Deku, you don't have to grieve for your fallen friend anymore. I promise I'll help you. Momo thinks determined. With the students. 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, that's everyone. Jesse says. So, it was All Might who made that big hole in the ceiling. Shoji asked. Yeah, he did that. His power is incredible. Siro says. Lieutenant, what happened to 13 and Teacher Aizawa? Mina asked, worried. Aizawa has an injury on his elbow, but he'll be fine. As for 13, her injuries are a bit more serious, but she'll also be fine. The ARC lieutenant says. What about Deku? Ochako asked, worried. Yes, what about Captain Deku? Ida also asked. Don't worry, the captain is fine. He's with All Might in Recovery Girl's office. Oh, that's a relief. Ochako says, sighing in relief. Yes, indeed. Ida says, man, Midoriya fought against those villains like a pro, so manly. Kirishima says, a true warrior indeed. Tokoimi says, but Kugo just listened, angry that the trooper was getting all the praise while Shoto keeps listening in silence. All right, all of you can go back to your class. We'll take care of things here. Appo says, right. After that, all the students went back to their classroom to get their things before going home, except for 3 girls who decided to stay and wait for Midoriya to come out of Recovery Girl's office. In an unknown bar. In a place that looks like a bar, Shigaraki and Kurogiri appear with Shigaraki on the ground because of the blaster bolts that hit him. DM in it. DM in it. Shigaraki says. What happened, Shigaraki? A voice on the TV screen says. You were wrong, MSTR, so wrong. All Might isn't getting weaker. He's in perfect condition. No, I'm not wrong. The symbol of peace is really weakening. You just didn't prepare properly for this task. By the way, where's my creation, Nomo? Another voice asked from the screen. He was defeated and flew away. Kurogiri says. What? The punch Nomu received was so strong that it looked like he went into orbit. He's probably drifting in space, and there's nothing I can do to recover him. Kurogiri says. And after all we did to make him as powerful as All Might. It's a shame, so there's nothing we can do. It wasn't just All Might that defeated Nomo. Shigaraki says. What do you mean, Shigaraki? There was an advanced recon commando there, wore green armor. He's the one who shot me. Out of everyone I hate him the most. He was so strong and didn't even use his quick. That soldier. Interesting. We must learn more about this soldier. In the meantime, Shigaraki used this time to learn from your mistakes and gather more allies. Tamura Shigaraki. Soon, you will show the world what you're made of. In another unknown location, a villain with a mask over his face to help him breathe thinks to himself. So Sidious, you're already sending troopers to fight aside the heroes. The end of heroes is near, and the League of Villains must not fall with them. All for One thinks frowning. Back at Yue. Toshi. Inko. Shouts. Crying, hugging her boyfriend. Inko, calm down. You're gonna flood the nurse's office. All Might says. I'm just glad you're okay, both of you. She says, hugging Izuku as well. Yes, Captain Midoriya saved my life. If it wasn't for him and his men, I would have died. Tashinori says. Like I said, just doing my job. Dad. All Might and Inko freeze as Izuku laughs. They then hear a knock on the door. The 3 friends, knowing no one can see All Might in this form. Who is it? Inko asked nervously. It's Yaoyorozu, Uraraka, and Tsu. Is Deku in there? Momo asks. Inko blinks a few times before turning to her son. Izuku, you have girlfriends? The mother asks. Izuku freezes, turning as red as Endeavor's fire. What? No, Mom, it's not like that. They're just friends of mine. However, Inko is already at the door. Momo, Ochako, and Tsu blink a few times, seeing this small lady. Hello, I'm Inko, Izuku's mother. Huh? The 3 girls shouts. It's nice to meet you, ma'am. I'm Momo Yaoyorozu. She says, bowing. I'm Ochako Uraraka. Uraraka says, bowing nervously. Karo, I'm Tsu Azui. Nice to meet you. You're all so pretty. Are you Izuku's girlfriends? When do I get grandbabies? She asks, smiling. What? The 3 yell, blushing. Okay, Mom. That's enough. Izuku says, forcing his mom back in the room with All Might, closing the door. Ugh, sorry about that, girls. What do you need? Izuku asked. The 3 just blink. How could an adorable little woman like Inko make someone as big as Captain Deku? We just wanted to check on you. Are doing okay, Deku? Uraraka asked, confused. Yeah, don't worry, I'm fine. He says. Midoriya. Tsu says as they turn to the frog girl. Thank you for saving me at USJ. I was really worried about you, so that's why I came. Thank you really for what you did for me, Midoriya. She says, smiling. Izuku smiles back, nodding. Just doing my job, Tsu. Besides, I know you would do the same for me. Izuku says. You and your men were amazing helping All Might. Ochako says. Yes, but it was very dangerous. Just. Momo then takes hold of Izuku's hand. Please be more careful next time. She says. Izuku blushes, but is also happy that more people care about him than he initially believed. Girls, thank you. I'm sorry for making you worry, he says, smiling, scratching the back of his neck, shyly making the girls blush. And no need to thank us, Deku. Ochako says, her face red. Yes, after all, we are friends. Momo says, blushing, though for some reason she knows Shoto is not happy about her friendship with Deku. Yes, that's true, Karo. Sue says, smiling. Izuku is stunned into silence, but then smiles, making a promise to himself that he will protect his new friends no matter what, even if he has to sacrifice himself to do it. I'm glad you think that, but you three should head home. It's getting late. Izuku says, serious. Why, yes, you're right. We best get home. Goodbye, Deku. Momo says as she, Uraraka, and Tsuyu leave to head home. Bye, girls. Izuku says before sighing and going back inside, not knowing that things are about to get much harder for him. UA was closed for a few days after the attack at USJ to allow police and the Grand Army of Japan to investigate. Currently, Izuku, together with Commander Appo, are in a meeting with the U staff, including All Might, Principal Nizu, and many other pros as the detective, Tsukachi Naomasa, holding a paper. We have the police as well as military intelligence investigating what they can on the League of Villains. We've made some progress, but we haven't been able to find anything on this Shigaraki so far. We've looked through our records for men in their 20s who are on record, but so far nothing. The detective said, sorry to interrupt, detective, but how do we even know if this Shigaraki is still alive? I shot him a few good times. Izuku says, some villains are extremely difficult to kill. If he did survive, he'll probably try something like that again. The pro-hero Snipe says, it seemed that Shigaraki was the leader of that group. Appo says, what commander? Nizu asked as everyone turned to him. That attack was too bold. No villain or even a normal adult would try something like that, even if it was planned. Appo says as Captain Deku speaks up. Appo is right. Now that I think of it, he kept bragging about that creature's many quicks, but never said anything about his own. And when things didn't go his way, he was angry and shaken. The whole attack was meant to kill Dad. I mean All Might. If it wasn't for All Might and my men, we might not have won that battle. Izuku says, Captain, with all due respect, it was your leadership and quick thinking that saved us. If it wasn't for you, All Might and our men would have been killed. Commander Appo said, I agree, Captain Deku. Thanks to you, all of the students are safe, and it was foolish of Shigaraki to reveal the unknown quicks while fighting. Nexus says, he made bold and immature statements, but he said all of it with a completely straight face. That creature also seemed to be some kind of pet from the way he talked about it. He thought everything was going to go his way. No matter what, my impression of him is that he seems like a spoiled child. All Might says, a man-child with a lot of power. Vlad King says, looks like he was never told how to use his quick in elementary school. Midnight says, just then, the comlink in both Appo and Deku's helmets beep as they hit the side buttons. What is it, Sergeant? Izuku asked. Sir, the pro-hero Mundi is requesting reinforcements at the Maijido Bridge, where to aid the 21st Nova Corps, orders from Palpatine himself. The trooper said. Izuku looks down for a moment before turning to the pro-heroes. Sirs, ma'am. He says, looking at Midnight, making the R-rated heroine blush. Oh my, how polite. She says with a smile, making All Might sweat drop. My mission here is done. I'm going back to the front. My men need me. Izuku says, shocking everyone. What? All Might shouts, spitting up BLD. Sorry, Dad. I mean, All Might. I have my orders. Tell the class I'm glad they're all right. Izuku says about to leave with Appo, but then, Captain Deku, wait a moment, please. Principal Nizu says as the captain and commander turn to the fury creature. Yes, Principal? He asked, confused. Nexu and the staff turn to each other and nod before looking back at him. Captain, I'm afraid we still need you here. You have done an amazing job at protecting the students, so we would like you to stay a little while longer. What? But sir, my orders. Izuku protest. Commander Appo can lead the 501st in the battle. There are a few reasons I personally want you to stay, all of which All Might well explain to you later. Izuku looks down worried for his men as Appo puts a hand on Izuku's shoulder. Don't worry, Captain, I'll take good care of them. The commander says, all right, and you take care as well. Report to me once the battle is over. Yes, sir. Appo says before putting his helmet on and leaving as Izuku sighs. Much later. Attention homeroom class is about to begin. Please take your seats. Ida says. We're all seating. You're the only one standing. Siro says. So who do you think is going to teach class today? Mina asks. No idea. Mr. Aizawa is still at the hospital recovering from his injuries. Tsuyu says. Just then, the door opens to reveal Mr. Aizawa with Captain Deku behind him. Morning, class. Morning, guys. Izuku says, taking his helmet off. Mr. Aizawa, what are you doing here? They all shout, surprised. My well-being is irrelevant, but more importantly, OCRP is it more villains? Everyone aside from Shoto and Bakugo think. The Udata Sports Festival is about to begin. A normal school event. The class shouts in relief. Wait a minute. Is that really such a good idea to have the sports festival just after those villains attacked? Jiro asks as Deka speaks up. Apparently, the administration thinks this a good way to handle the situation and that our school is safer than ever. Plus, that's why I'm still here to provide security. Izuku says, not knowing the huge bombshell All Might will drop on him. But isn't that a good reason? It's just the sports festival? Mineta asked. Mineta, don't you realize how important this event is? Izuku asked. Of course I do, Mineta doesn't finish as looking at him slowly reaching for his pistol, threatening to stun him while making him flinch as Aizawa speaks. The sports festival is one of the most watched events in all of Japan. Before Quicks came along, it was just an ordinary festival. But it's been reduced to his former glory. For those who care about competition, there's only one event that matters, the Udata Sports Festival. That's right. The country's greatest heroes will be attending. This is where we will be watched. Momo says, unless you're dead. Mineta says only to Frez at Izuku's cold stare, hand on his pistol. Mineta shut it. Why yes, sir. She's right. After graduating, many people just go to hero agencies as helpers. Kaminari says, yeah, but they miss the chance to become important and just stay as sidekicks. That's probably where you're going since you're an idiot. Koika says, making Kaminari blush embarrassed. That is true, that joining a famous agency can guarantee your greater experience and popularity. That's why the sports festival is important. If you want to become a professional one day, this event can pave the way for you. 3 chances on your life. No hero can miss this festival, which means none of you can stop training. Aizawa says, yes, sir. The students say as Izuku's comlink beeps. Yes. Captain Midoriya, come by my office. It's time for our talk. All Might says, yes, sir. Izuku says leaving as Shoto Todoroki waits him leave. Midoriya, he thinks. With Izuku and All Might. Izuku knocks on All Might's office door, and to his surprise he hears another voice inside as well. Come in. You wanted to see me, sir? Izuku asks. Yes, come in, Captain. All Might says as Izuku enters, and to his surprise. Togata is here as well. Hey Deka, good to see you again. He says with a smile. Togata. Izuku says nodding before turning to All Might. Alright All Might, what's so important that you called me here? Izuku asked. I called you here to tell you that you'll be participating in the sports festival along with the first-year students. Izuku blinks a few times before shouting. What? Izuku yells said. You're participating in the sports festival. Toshinori says. The ARC captain is furious. He couldn't join his men at my Jido because he has to participate in the sports festival. Wait, don't get angry. Listen to what we need to tell you. Toshinori says nervous. Izuku sighs before taking his helmet off and seating down. Tell me whatever it is you want to say before I call in a gunship to take me back to the front. Izuku says irritated. I understand that you're not happy, Captain. Your men are out there fighting while you're here, but this is important, I promise. Well, Izuku asked, I deem you worthy of my quick. Well, it's not technically mine anymore, he says looking at Mirio. Izuku blinks a few times before responding. What? Haha, hang on, let him finish. Mirio says smiling. Journalists always guss my quick super strength or something like that. And when people ask in interviews, I always make a joke and dodge the question. That's because the world needs to believe that their symbol of peace is a natural-born hero. But I'm not. All Might says, shocking the ARC captain. As a Japan trooper, Izuku had heard and seen a lot of things, but this was completely new for him. I wasn't born with this power. It's sacred torch that was passed down to me from someone else. All Might says, I don't believe it. A quick that can be passed to others? Izuku asked, amazed. The true name of this power is One for All. All Might declares. One for all? Izuku asked. Yes, I am the 8th person who had this power. I was quickless like you, my boy. Izuku freezes hearing that. All Might was quickless. He thinks shocked. And right now young Togata has it, however. All Might says, pausing as Mirio speaks up. I don't want it. He says nonchalantly. Why? Izuku asked, surprised. Well, I already have a quick. It's called permeation. It allows to become intangible. I can pass through any tangible matter, walls, and even the ground. He says. So why are you both telling me this? Izuku asked, confused. Because I want you to have OFA. Mirio says, now serious. What? But why me? Izuku asked. Captain Midoriya, even though you're quickless, you're an amazing fighter and brilliant tactician. Even though you're a soldier, you have the potential to become a symbol of your own. Izuku says, unsure of making this decision so soon. We won't force this on you. Togata says. Wait, what's the catch? Izuku says, knowing there's more to this. I want to see you perform in the sports festival first. If you win, I will give it to you. If not, I will keep it until I can find someone else. Izuku thinks for a long moment, because in truth he doesn't need it. He can't help but dream tearing through enemies on the battlefield with All Might's power. However, most troopers in the army only are allowed to use their quicks as a last resort, so even if he does take it, he won't be able to use it all that much. I need time to think about this. Izuku says. I understand. Togata says. Later. Class was finally over as everyone is about to leave, but there was one problem. When Ochako opens the door, the class sees students from different courses blocking the door. What is happening here? What do you want with Class A? Lita says, chopping the air. We can't leave. Why are you here, huh? Mineta yells. Isn't it obvious, you weakling? They came to investigate their enemies. They want to see who they will crush at the sports festival, and considering that we are the ones in the spotlight, because we survived USJ, they want to see who they are dealing with. Bakugo says, standing in the front. I suggest you get out of my way. I have more important things to do than let some extras look at me. He threatens intimidating some of the students. Is he always like this? Mineta asks. He's being kind in his own way. Ochako says as Izuku looks at her with a really? Look. As one of the students in front of the door speaks up. Are all Class 1A students shitheads? Or just you? A boy with ruffled purple hair and dark circles under his eyes, looking as if he has not slept in days, asks. Nope, so far just him. Izuku says from the side, pointing at Bakugo. What did you say, DKU? Bakugo yells said. He's not wrong. Kaminari says, whispering to Shiro, who nods, making Bakugo's face turn red with anger. We came here to get into the hero house, but we were sidelined because we didn't pass the hero test. I bet you all feel happy to be here, but let me tell you, the sports festival allows the staff to evaluate students who do well. If we are to be added to other classes, like yours, and of course someone will have to leave accordingly, so don't think you're safe because you could be out of here investigating the enemy. No, I came here with a declaration of war. The boy says. Before anyone could respond, someone from the back shouts. Don't forget about us. Class 1B, we won't allow Class 1A to defeat us. A boy with silver hair and sharp teeth yells. Class B. Oh yeah, that's Kodai and Kendo's class. Izuku thinks as the students begin to get louder. Izuku has had enough. Enough. Everyone is stunned, turning to Izuku, who simply chuckles. Who are you? The tired purple-haired student asked. My name is Deku, Captain, 501st Japanese Legion of the Grand Army of Japan. This is another reminder why I hate people like you. All you heroes care about is yourselves and how popular you'll be. Some of you even act more like villains than heroes, he says while glaring at Bakugo. While the real heroes, troopers like me and my brothers, we are out there fighting the real battles and have sacrificed everything to keep Japan safe. I've been fighting since I was 4 years old, and I'm quirkless. He says, stunning everyone into silence before sighing. My point is, real heroes don't care about fame or wealth. A real hero has to be willing to put their life on the line to save others, something I've done a few times now. He says coldly. How do we know you're telling the truth? He asks. Angered, Izuku removes the armor on his right arm and pulls up his body glove to reveal his arm covered in scars. As everyone looks at him stunned, especially Yaoyorozu and Uraraka, who have their hands over their mouths. Yeah, ugly, aren't they? Does that answer your question? He asked, putting the sleeve of his body glove back down and putting the armor plates back on. The silver-haired boy closes his mouth, looking down, clearly feeling guilty. Now, if you don't mind, please move and let the students through. I think that's enough. Izuku says. The students then leave, some glaring at Izuku while others feel bad about what they said, as Izuku sighs. I hope I actually talk some sense into them, he thinks. The next day, Izuku is about to leave for the day, but is stopped by Mr. Aizawa. Midoriya, I need you to take these forms over to Class 1B. Help them fill them out. Yes, sir. Izuku says, confused, wondering why he wants him to do it and not Ida or Yaoyorozu. Izuku makes his way to Class 1B and knocks on the door. Not getting a response, Izuku opens the door to see a blonde guy laying on the floor passed out, looking to see Kendo with her hand in a chopping position. What the hell? What happened in here? He asks, confused, as Kendo turns to him with a friendly grin. Oh hey, Captain, please come in. She, as Izuku enters the classroom. Izuku then looks back to the blonde laying on the ground. Good to see you, Kendo, but is he dead? Izuku asks. Huh, she says, turning to the blonde. Oh no, I just hit him because he was talking bad about 1A again. He'll be fine, she says, coming closer to the ARC trooper as he removes his helmet. Itsuka smiles, feeling her heart beat fast. She had thought about what Yui had said, and maybe she is interested in him. If only a little, as Izuku remembers why he is here. Here, I brought you these forms. Mr. Aizawa told me to help you with them. Izuku says, handing them to her. Oh yes, please. The help would be great, but before we start, someone wants to talk to you. Right, Tetsu? She says, becoming angry and serious as the white-haired boy from earlier nervously walks over to them. Lijana. About earlier, I want to apologize to you. I said some things I shouldn't have, but many students don't respect us and see Class 1B as inferior to the class you're normally with. I thought they was using the attack at USJ as an excuse to say they were better than us. I hope we can get over that. Also, my name is Tetsu. The boy says, bowing to him. Izuku looks down before responding. In my experience, respect is something you earn. Tell me, Tetsu, how many villains have you fought against? Izuku asks. The steel user says, unable to respond. That's what I thought, and I appreciate the apology. But to be honest, I don't see any difference between your two classes. You're all wanting to be heroes, so you shouldn't think of yourselves as inferior just because of what others say. Trust me. People have talked bad about me my whole life, all because I'm quirkless. Izuku says before continuing. I'm sure you're all just as strong as them. Some of you may even be stronger, and as long as you give it your all, I'm sure all of you will be great heroes one day. Izuku ending his speech. Both Tetsu and Itsuka look at him completely stunned. Dude, that was so manly, bro. Finally someone who sees our worth. I like you, and I don't know if you're participating on the sports festival, but if you are, don't expect me to go easy on you at the sports festival. I'm gonna give it my all. While that was happening, Itsuka was watching with a smile. Wow, that was amazing. I think I get now why Yui is so interested in him. She thinks with a blush before speaking. Now we should get to filling out these forms. Captain, can you give them to me? He nods, giving her the forms before turning to see a chubby boy with short ice blue hair, a girl slightly taller than him with green thorn-covered vines as hair, and Yui Kodai. Hello, Midoriya. My name is Ibra Shiozaki. I want to thank you for your kind words. I'm glad that your kind soul is here. She says, slightly bowing. I wouldn't say my soul is kind. In fact, it's pretty brutal. Izuka thinks. I'm Nairenjiki Shota. It's nice to meet you, Captain Midoriya. I hope we can work together. But I'm curious, those pistols, I've never seen those models before. What kind of bullets do they take? He says, pointing to his holsters as Izuku takes out one of his pistols. They're DC-17 blaster pistols, standard issue sidearm for all ARCs, commandos, and even a few normal soldiers use them too. And they don't fire bullets, but powerful blue energy beams. Can even blow a hole into a concrete wall. He says before holstering it. Okay, I see. He says as Izuku turns to Yui. Good to see you again, Kodai. Izuku says, smiling. She says, nodding, but with a small smile and blush on her face, shocking the students around her. Kodai, why you're smiling? Sunkaibara says, shocked. Yet you should smile more often, it looks good on you. Izuku says, not even realizing he just flirted with the black-haired girl. Everyone looks at the ARC captain shocked. The guy's jaws drop while the girls, especially Kendo, pout in jealously as one of them speaks up. Era, Kodai seems you've found quite a handsome man. Izuku sharply turns, pulling out one of his pistols at a floating head. What the? Wow, man. Sorry, didn't mean to startle you. She says as a body without a head walks over and attaching together. There, back in one piece. She says, smiling as Izuku holsters his pistol to see a girl with large green eyes and dark moss green hair. My name's Setsuna Tokeiichi. Hey, you have green hair too. She says, looking at Izuku's messy green hair. Yeah, nice to meet you. He says, shaking her hand only for it to detach from her arm. Whoops, sorry, it happens sometimes. Care to give me a hand? She asked, joking with a big smile. Huh. Izuku says as the hand reattaching to her arm as Kendo walks up to him with the forms. Done. Captain Midoriya, can you help me pass them out? She asked. Yes, Kendo. He says, taking half of the stack. 1 hour later, Izuku and Itsuka checked to see if any students needed help, while Izuku meet more students from Class B, including Kinoko Komori, Pony Tsunatori, and Reiko Yanagi, who all seemed really interested in him for some reason, along with Kojiro Bondo, Jirota Shishida, and Juzo Honestly, and many others from the class. Needless to say, despite their dislike of Class 1A, the students of Class 1B now have a newfound respect and appreciation for Captain Deku, though many of them, especially Yui and Itsuka, are curious about his past and how he became a soldier, not knowing of the dark secret he carries. The students were then given 2 weeks to prepare for the sports festival, with Class A training hard, but as for Captain Deku, move it. Watch out, super battle droids, take them down. Izuku shouts in the front lines of Maijido, having been allowed to return to the front until the sports festival, leading the 501st Legion against an army of super battle droids led by a group of villains had taken over the main city and killed the pro-heroes stationed there, as AT-TE walkers and UT-AT transports open fire with their artillery cannons, as the two armies slaughter each other. Watch those wrist rockets, Izuku shouts as he, Jesse, Appo and their men take cover before continuing their advance. Everyone push forward. The other battalions are counting on us. Izuku shouts, blasting with his dual DC-17 pistols. Yes, sir. All the troopers shout. Captain, I have a massage from Commander Bakara. Appo says. Show us. Izuku says as Appo pulls out his holo projector, showing the martial commander of the 21st Nova Corps, also known as the Japanese Marines. Captain Deku, our forces have captured the final bridge into the city. You are to finish your battle in Sector 5, then pull out. The 13th Battalion will help us secure the city. Izuku and his men sigh in relief because the past week had been absolute hell. But then, wait, do you hear that? Jesse asks as Izuku lowers his macro binoculars only to freeze in horror at what he sees. What is it, Captain? Appo asked. Destroyer droids, a whole company of them. And they're coming right for us. Deku shouts before turning to Appo. Commander Appo, request cover for an artillery attack. Izuku orders as Appo hits the comm link on his helmet. Commander Appo to base. We're about to be overrun by destroyer droids in Sector 5. I request immediate artillery support. Copy that. Commander, positioning fire run now. You boys are going to want to take cover. Then the troopers look up to see several Y-wing attack bombers. Everyone take cover. Izuku shouts, as they fly and firing missiles at the destroyer droids, saving Izuku and his men. A good old oddball. Always on target. Jesse says, this is our opportunity. Secure the bridge. Izuku shouts, yes, sir. The 501st shouts as they finish the battle. Later, Captain Deku, the area is secure. Appo says, excellent. The gunships will be here shortly. Commander Yu and the men are being assigned to the Kashyyyk Forest. Commander Gree and the 41st need reinforcements. Yes, sir, but what about you? Appo asked. I have to return to U.A. I have to participate in the sports festival. Izuku says, look on the bright side, Captain. You might get to kill a few hero student you don't like. Jesse says, chuckling. I highly doubt that, Jesse, but doesn't mean I won't put a few of them in the hospital. Izuku says, smiling darkly. A few days later. It's such a shame we can't wear our costumes. Mina says, unfortunately they don't allow it. But how come he gets to wear his uniform? Toru asked, pointing at Izuku. Yet Deku, why are you still in your armor? Ochako asked. Is that even allowed? Kaminari asked. Yeah, any support items can be used, and my armor counts as support. Izuku says. I wonder what the first round will be like. Sato asked. I'm a little nervous. My parents are watching me from the TV. Tsuyu says. Really? My parents are watching me too, so I have to do my best. Ochako says with a raised fist. Everyone give it your all, and I'm sure we'll all do great. Captain Deku says. Then the door opens to reveal Ida. Everyone be ready. We will enter the arena soon. Midoriya. Izuku turns to see Todoroki approaching him. Yeah, what is it, Todoroki? Looking at this, obviously I'm stronger than you. What? Izuku asked, stunned, and said as Momo looks at Todoroki surprised. Shoto, why are you? Momo tries to say, but Todoroki cuts her off. Since that day, I know Momo has taken an interest in you. Even if you trained for over 10 years, I will still defeat you. I will show her I'm stronger. Momo is absolutely shocked. Shoto Todoroki, her boyfriend, is jealous. Oh, the best in the class making a declaration of war to try to win the girl's heart. Mina asked, hey, why start a fight all of a sudden? Aren't we all supposed to be friends? Kirishima asked, we're not here to be friends. I'm here to be the best. But, Kaminari says, hee you fool. Izuku says, stunning them. I'm not sure what you're talking about or why you think I'm trying to impress Yaoyorozu, but I'll tell you this right now, Todoroki. Don't underestimate me just because I have no quirk. You better fight with everything you've got. I may be quirkless, but I won't fall behind. I'll be going with everything I've got because if you don't, I'll kill you without hesitation. He says, making everyone except Todoroki and Bakugo stutter. And on top of that, you'll embarrass yourself in front of Yaoyorozu. Wouldn't want that, right? Izuku says, grinding his teeth as the two glare at each other as Momo immediately gets between the two. Enough of this. Shoto, what is wrong with you? Momo says, hand chopping the half-cold, half-hot user's head as Ida comes in. Everyone, it's time. Let's go, Ida says. As they leave, Captain Deku glares at Shoto a final time before putting his helmet on and leaving as Momo pulls Todoroki aside. She is honestly disappointed in him. She knows Todoroki has a dark past that he hasn't told her, but he's normally at least respectful towards others. Why is he acting so hostile towards Captain Deku? Shoto, what is your problem? Why did you declare war on Deku? She asks, angry at him. Isn't it obvious? He's trying to steal you from me. Shoto says. Momo blinks a few times before sighing in anger. Captain Deku and I are simply friends. Then why is it every time we sit to eat you're always looking at him? He asks coldly. Momo freezes, a blush on her face. She had thought Shoto had been too busy eating to notice her looking at the Arc Captain. I will prove to you I am better than that freak, and prove to my father why I don't need his fire, Shoto says with venom in his voice before turning and leaving. Momo looks at Shoto nervous, now worried for both him and Captain Deku. I have a very bad feeling about this, she thinks before making her way to the field. So, this was the end of part 3 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.